What's up, family, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have you here today. We're going to have another conversation, and I think this one is going to be a little different. We're going to deviate a little bit, but we're going to talk. And for those of you wondering, yes, I am wearing my robe because it's cold, but I have a hoodie on under it, so it's not indecent. It works. It works. All right, so well, before we jump into this, of course, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that alert notification bell, consider joining, supporting, or connecting with this channel, community, or content in any way that makes sense for you. And then, of course, share this video with somebody who you think may benefit from something like this. And then, last but not least, check out the merch because it's dope as fuck, and we have books. All right, so every year, the last quarter of the year, I spend some time reflecting on how the year has gone and kind of determining what I want to make my focus for the next year. And this year, because we've been experimenting with building community, we've developed Bridge City Global. We have, at this moment, people who are in support of this mission and vision all across the nation and all across the globe. So a lot of my last quarter reflections in 2024 were about Bridge City. You know, we did this Bridge City dreaming type of thing. And so I'm actually in a series on our Discord channel right now with the people who are interested in taking that next step of leadership or that next step of partnership with us and building. And so we're in a series called Bridge City Dreaming, and it's a community development series where I'm sharing some of those things that I pulled from that reflection time, which is just in this case, it's 5 things that we're going to be focused on as a community to really enhance our community experience and our community's ability to support. All right. So we have a big 5 that I call them, and it's 5 things. Don't worry about it. If you're part of the Discord, you know. But in today's conversation, I kind of wanted to do something a little different. And it's a Friday. My videos are a little lower in numbers on Friday, so we'll see how this goes. But I want to talk about, since I've already set up some things for our community, 5 things we're going to be focusing on to really make sure we're thriving in 2025. I want to share some things that could help individuals, you know, because like I said, the last quarter reflection is typically personal, but this year it was because we're building community. I had to use that time to think of the community as well and make sure, you know, as my position as community developer, make sure that our people have, I hate to pull this from scripture, but have a vision that they can run with, write down the vision so that they may read it, they can run with it and all that good stuff. But we're having a good time there, but people need that as well. People, I find, you know, some people do resolutions and things like that. Resolutions are fine. I don't really have a problem with them. But I like strategy, and strategy and resolutions can work hand in hand. But let's just jump in it and see where we go. So these are 5 ways to thrive in 2025. For non-believers navigating the challenges of financial, social, and psychological uncertainties, thriving in 2025 is about building resilience, fostering connection, and embracing self-determination, which many of you know is it's the 3 A's of this channel are agency, authenticity, and autonomy. And all of those are absolutely necessary for self-determination. These strategies aim to empower individuals, helping them overcome isolation and move toward a fulfilling and meaningful life, which I want there. You know, I definitely want there to be more conversations like this coming from the secular community, atheist community, non-believing community, agnostic community. Because of course, this is one of the things that gets levied at non-believers, is that it's impossible for you to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. And I'm not saying we should do it just to be like, aha, you know what I'm saying? We got y'all, told y'all we could do it. That's not very fruitful. But instead that we do it because we know that many people are subjected to that type of narrative. And one thing that I've learned is that if people keep hearing something over and over again, even if they have no evidence for it to be true, they will just assume that it is true. And that'll make it harder for people who have deconverted in good faith, because let's just be honest, everybody who deconverts or deconstructs isn't deconstructing in good faith. It's not, if your deconstruction is about somebody else, it's probably not being done in good faith. If your deconversion is about somebody else or something else, then it's probably not being done in good faith. To me, a deconversion that's being done in good faith is a deconversion where you're honestly trying to get the truth, not just something happened that made you mad. Now that still works too, I'm sure. But you will notice that people who deconvert because somebody made them mad will typically reconvert. That happens like that. But when it's done in good faith, you know, um, you're out here kind of alone many times, right? Um, so we want to help with that. You do that in good faith. You're out here, and now you're you're going to continue to hear that narrative where you can't have purpose if you don't have God. Well, you'll never have meaning and fulfillment if you don't have God. We need to be making sure that we are making that we are demonstrating that yes, it is possible to have meaning and fulfilling and meaningful life. And not only that we're demonstrating it, but we're talking about it like that. We're becoming subject matter experts on it. I mean, because isn't that's what people centric is. That's what being people centric is. It's becoming the subject matter experts on what people need and what can help people, right? And living a meaningful life is one of those things. That's something that we can be committed to talking people through, helping people through, and creating strategy for it. And so that's one of the reasons I'm having this conversation. This conversation is for non-believers and maybe even believers alike. But these are just 5 ways to take 2025 seriously, to make the most out of your time. It's something I call maximizing. You know what I'm saying? Let's maximize this upcoming year, day by day, week by week, month by month. And let's see if by the time we get to the fourth quarter of the year, if we are proud or not about the work we've done, about the progress we've made, about how productive we've been, or how any type of positive advancement we've made in our lives. So the first way is to either build or join a supportive community. This, if you're not a part of our Sunday sessions, I'm challenging you to get in there, because we're like, no matter what the topic is, all of our conversations are personal growth and community development. Every single conversation. And so right now we're in this conversation series called Human Economics. And it's in this series where we're talking about how much of a safety net community is. Community doesn't just meet this need of helping us feel good. I mean, that's nice. That is an important need, but community creates opportunity. Community creates it creates options and opportunities for people to dive in and support solutions, support programs, support projects. And it also creates opportunities for people to explore different things that they're interested in, different hobbies, different skills, different talents, etc. And so we know that losing relationships due to non-belief can be isolating. So thriving requires connection, which fosters emotional well-being and provides a network of support. So while yes, it is true, everyone who deconstructs and deconvert doesn't lose their family, but there are enough people who have been negatively impacted from deconstructing and deconverting, or just any other types of situations. Because look, there's another market out here. All right. It's not just the people who fully deconstructed. It's not just the people who fully deconverted. There are people who still hold on to the faith and also can't find safe space. And what a testament to the secular community that will be if those people, such as people who identify as homosexual or trans, those people who identify as things that this society has deemed unacceptable, but yet they still hold on to this type of supernatural based beliefs. What a testament would that be for us if those people felt more comfortable coming to our stuff than they did going to the church's stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so this goes back to something that I kind of highlight. People will people if there are more options, people will consider it as an option. You know what I'm saying? And so some action steps you can take here, whether you're building or joining a supportive community, is you can join some secular groups, engage with local or online communities for non-believers, such as meetup groups, Discord servers, or organizations like Bridge City or Recovering from Religion. There are new organizations popping up every day, and I, for one, am here for it. I was talking to another brother last night. I'm sure he won't mind name. Most of you know him, Secular Rarity. He's working on doing similar work like this in Nashville, and we're talking about partnering and doing stuff together because this is a real need. Community is a real need. Thriving in 2025 will require having a community that values you and a community that you value, right? Um, and of course, Bridge City, we're all about that. That's what we're doing. And so if you're looking for an online community support, jump in there, jump in our Discord, meet our community, see what it is, you know. And we named ourselves Bridge, you know, the Bridge in Bridge City on purpose because that is our goal. We don't have to be like the superstitious churches where no, you come to my church and nobody else church. You know, this is one of the reasons why one of the organizations that I was working with a little earlier, why I pulled away, you know, and it's not negative on them, but it's like, no, if you're doing stuff with us on Sundays, you can't do nothing else on Sundays. And I'm like, oh no, like I'm not going back there. And I don't think that's healthy for building a thriving community. And that's my goal is building something that is thriving. It should be, we should all be affiliated, but everything that we're doing should be autonomous, you know? And that's not just about no hierarchy. That's also about faster movement. You can get things done faster if you don't have to see things all the way up to people who are not informed on what it is you're doing. So now you got to go through a whole cabinet process to get some shit done. No, we should be affiliated, but highly autonomous. That's my mind. And so you can either join a secular group, but you can also create your tribe. You can start a small group focused on shared interests, book clubs, hobby groups, activism, personal growth and development, community development. That's what I'm saying. And this is where I think a lot of secular communities, not all for sure, but a lot of secular communities are missing the mark. Especially those who are trying to build around meeting routinely, whether that's once a month, which I'm not a fan of. That's just not routine enough, you know. But you know, that's not a if you're doing it this way, you're doing it wrong type of thing. There are many ways to do this. What do you say? There's many ways to skin a cat. I don't know why you'd want to skin a cat. Oh, I have jokes, but I'm going to leave it alone. Um, but instead of making it a hobby group or an interest group or an activism group, just make it a people group and make your build your subject matter, your conversation matter around the things that the people who are attaching to that community need to grow. What do they need to grow as people? You know, someone commented, they said, hey, sound like what you're describing is like in one of the videos about what it would look like if churches were exploration based instead of revelation based. And so it sounds like that would be a college or a university. And my response to that was not quite. It's very close, but not quite. Because, of course, what we know as college and university today does have its root in what was once what was the church, the temple, you know. But then the difference is this was at a time where the temple was very much a part of the political engine of the state, you know, and so that's why education came from it. But the reason I say not quite that a secular churches, for lack of better words, right now, secular secular sinners, that works too. But the thing that I think, or at least what we'll be focused on is Bridge City. We're going to build all of our content around people stuff, personal growth and development, and community development, which allows us to number one, it allows us to really hone in on our purpose. You know, our purpose as an organization is really to be a better way to connect, and our mission is to build community beyond superstition, and our vision is to build bridges to better outcomes. That's where we are. That type of vision. Of course, our difference, what I call Bridge City difference, is that we're progressive thinking, people centric, and life affirming. That those are kind of our marching orders. Which for us, that means we have a plethora of things that we can actually build content around. But we always need to bring it back to, okay, is this progressive thinking? Is this people centric? Is this life affirming? Because what we're not trying to do is just have a random TED talk every week. You know, that's fun. I would enjoy that, but overall, that's just not as helpful as it could be. You know what I'm saying? So instead of doing, random tech talks about random subjects, which are cool, and honestly, I'd save that for probably for a midweek session, not for your main weekend session. Let your midweeks, because your midweek sessions, you can build that stuff out around groups. You know what I'm saying? Which allows you to host several conversations, and of course, that allows you to accelerate your community's growth. If it's just locked into one conversation a week and it's just a big conversation, while yes, the community can grow that way, it won't grow as fast if you have the one big conversation on the weekend and have several small conversations hosted by groups throughout the week. That stuff like that, it's catchy, it's sticky. People like that. It has a high level of viscosity, if you will. Um, but yeah, and then of course, so you join secular groups or you create your own tribe, and also attend events. Participate in secular events like humanist gatherings, skeptic conventions, or Sunday assemblies to meet others who share your values. And as of 2025, you could also attend some Bridge City weekends because this year we're doing a tour, Bridge City tour. We're going to North Carolina. We're going to be in either Michigan or Chicago, and we're going to be in Portland, and then we're going to be in California. We're going to be putting together these Bridge City weekend events, and we have several different ways we can do this. I'm hoping we can do it the big way. I want to do it the big way. That's me. Go big or go home. I want to do it where we have the full band, full singers, where we have all types of field day activities, where we got some poker tables and stuff like that for charity, of course. But just having a good time. So go ahead and mark your calendars. As of now, the tentative date is April 19th and April 20th. We're going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to be doing Bible study with an ex-pastor. We're going to be having a post-faith house party. We're going to be playing games and stuff like that, kickball, whatever. We're going to be eating some food. We're going to have some stuff planned for the kids. And then that Sunday, we're going to do a live Sunday session with my wife and I, and maybe some other friends. And then that night, that evening, rather, we're going to do the ex-pastor call-in show live as well. So Bridge City Weekends is going to be an event that, oh my goodness, not only do we not want you to miss, this is an event that you want to support. For those of you who've been waiting for secularism to finally become mainstream, this is one of those events that is going to help. I know what Secular Rarity is doing is going to help. So I'm super excited about that. All right, I'll pull back from the commercial now. So attend events. So number one, you want to thrive in 2025, build a supportive community. Build or join a supportive community. You can do that by joining a secular group or creating your own tribe. In either route you take, and many times doing both is probably best. Also, still start attending events so you can just start networking, knowing more people, knowing who's out there. That is so good for your well-being. That's good for your mental health when you know, whew, I'm not alone. All right. Because I don't know if there was about 8 years of my life after deconverting where I thought I wasn't convinced, but I thought that I might be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I might have just lost my mind because I wasn't interacting with any other atheist. I wasn't interacting with any other humanist. Everybody who was around me were still believers. And so I felt like a fish out of water. And so, oh man, I forgot whatever point I was trying to make there, but it was going to be a good one. Oh yeah, that's what it was. So I felt like I was losing my mind, because I was putting all these notes together, like much of everything. This is the reason why I can produce so much content because for the last 10 years, this is what I've been doing in my life. All of these things are in my folders. These are my notes and stuff. And I was afraid that one day my wife was going to look at my notes and say, "Baby, this is all scribble scrabble." And then the people were going to be at the door to put me in one of them jackets that make you hug yourself. You know what I'm saying? But thankfully, that didn't happen. Turns out I wasn't crazy. Hallelujah. Now let's start. Well, the jury might still be out on that. We'll see. We'll see. But the big point is building or joining a community is going to give you a head start. You don't have to navigate life alone. Community is key to resilience. Even though our community is still growing and is brand spanking new, just being able to have conversations together on Sundays as a community and having those conversations not be dripping with dogma or doctrine or deities. You got to hit all three D's. Throw some D's on it. But anyway, it's refreshing, and it's created little small flows of testimonies, for lack of better words. We're having people, like I just read a testimony in the chat today in our Discord, which is basically our online campus, that they just paid off their debt, you know, that they realized that they were not being very good with money management. And, part of that is due to their neurospiciness, you know what I'm saying? But that was a big accomplishment for them. They added some margin in their life. And that's partly because they are part of a community that values them, and that helps them find value in yourself. Most of us do destructive things to our own lives because we have not really learned how to value ourselves. And when, yeah, we haven't learned how to appreciate ourselves, right? And so I think that's one of the unique things that our community conversations do, especially our Sunday conversations, because I am completely I'm like a dog with a bone on Sundays. Sundays are about people, not politics. Sundays are about people, not anybody's personal pet peeve or anybody's personal passion. It's just about people. It's having conversations to help people navigate life so that they could be of better use to building community. Some people can't help with building community because they're so locked down in real life, you know? Hell, I'm one of those people. I'm making a way, but it damn sure takes its toll, you know. But please don't cry for me. I've chosen my seat. You know what I'm saying? But again, the key point is you don't have to navigate life alone. Community is key. And when you have community, you can kind of what's the word? You almost kind of feed off of that energy. And I'm not saying something from the woo world, though this is real. These are sociological experiences. I think I've done a video on this. I have. And if I haven't, I'll do it. Even if I have, I'll do another one on it. So here's the second one, which was a perfect place to talk about that testimony. Embrace financial literacy and stability. Oh man, I see a lot that comes through the secular community. A lot of language, a lot of memes that are glaring red flags that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about when they're talking about economics and finances. And this is really sad because there's so many in our community who are struggling, you know? And I mean, wow, it's bad. But let's kind of talk about it. So the first one was building community. Second way to thrive in 2025 is embrace financial literacy and stability. Many people struggle financially. That's a given, especially in the context of this country. Well, I guess the context of any country is a given. And for those isolated from family support systems, self-sufficiency is even more critical. I learned 10 years ago that me nor my wife have a support system that could help us. And then it was a few years after that where I realized that, oh, I need to start living like that. That's another reason why I'm hyper productive. I just started realizing I've been living like I have things that I don't. Like I've been living like I have good parents when I don't. I've been living like I have a supportive family when I don't. I've been living like I have people that I can depend on when I don't. And that's why I kept falling over and over and over again, because I was making my decisions on things mental, not functional. Yep. I had an ornamental father. I had an ornamental mother. People who would say the words but never do the work. 10 years ago, I got arrested for a crime. Well, actually, like seven crimes that I did not commit. I had to fight to keep a felony off my record. I had to fight for 2 years. 2 years. I was finally fully cleared. Not one person in my family reached out when I was going through that ordeal. Me, my 4 kids, and my wife lost everything. Lost everything. I did reach out to one family member to tell them about it, and their response was basically, I deserved it since I had left Jesus. Huh. hmm So what that meant for me, the reality of that was you are on your own. And I had never lived like that before. I've been living like there's quite a bit of homelessness in my childhood because I would come home and my mom would have packed her shit and moved, and I would not hear from her for another 3 or 4 years, type of shit, you know. Um, so people who don't have that those support systems and they deconvert, life is going to be even harder for them because even though companies are supposed to not discriminate, there are companies who will discriminate anyway because they know you don't have enough money to afford a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Which most times, and here's just some free game right here. Most times you can bluff that shit. You know, you can bluff that shit. Write you up a little fake legal brief, send it to the company. You know, don't sign a real lawyer's name because then that would be forgery. Don't do that. But yeah, and fraud. That would also be fraud. um, but no, there's some loopholes. But the big point here is this is important. If you're one of those people who've deconverted and you realize that your support system isn't strong right now, then this conversation is critical for you. It's as critical for you today as it was for me several years ago. Um, Bridge City is 10 years in the making. I've been pulling these notes together. Whew, I've been playing with different infrastructure, playing with different frameworks for 10 years because I know that this is important. But so a few action steps you can take here is to go ahead and start setting some financial goals. Budget for 2025 with clear short-term and long-term goals, and you use free tools like Mint or YNAB. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, to track spending. You know, um, actually, but before I released Christ Held Up and Black Non-Believer Next Door, I was finishing a book called Making the Jump. And in that book, I am kind of talking people through my story of how, which this one is, it has nothing to do with atheism or anything like that. This one is about how my wife and I basically made the jump and pulled ourselves out of poverty in about 3 years. It was from 2017 to 2021 or 2020, how we pulled ourselves out of poverty. And I share some very practical. I pretty much give you the roadmap that we took. Um, and I know everybody's situation is different, but that's the way we kind of took that. But definitely set some financial goals. One thing that I encourage people to do is to write your number down, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. Write your number down. Figure out how much money you need to survive where you are. How much money and you have to define that. Like that. This is not an easy thought experiment, right? Writing your number down is not an easy thought experiment, but anybody I've ever walked through this thought experiment have come to some like mind-blowing realizations about themselves. Sometimes really good things and sometimes not so good things. Sometimes people realize that I really been sleeping on myself. I'm not, I don't really believe in myself like I should. I don't support myself like I should. But the reason this one is so hard is because what most people do when you say write your number down, write down how much you need to survive for the rest of the year, for all of 2020, 2025. How much do you need? If you received it in a lump sum, how much would it be? You know, the mistake that most people are going to do is they're going to calculate their bills and stop there. And it's like, nope. Now your house and your car and your lights are on, but you have no groceries. So you got to calculate that in there, and then you're gonna need some toilet tissue, and toothpaste runs out every now and then, and you probably want to replace those toothbrushes every now and then, and you're probably going to be needing some cleaning supplies. You know, you might need to replace some furniture, so you need to calculate all that in. You know, calculate all that in, and then you might have things that you want to do. You know, And then you look at that and you say, okay, this is how much I need a year to have the life that I actually want, or a life that I'd actually be comfortable in. And of course, you don't have to feel like, well, will I be comfortable? You don't know. You won't know until you're in there. So it's just a thought experiment. Don't get stuck on that shit now. Um, don't get stuck on shit like that, please. You just think about it and roll with it, and then write that number down, and then ask yourself, is 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 anything I'm doing now going to help me get closer to there? Like, I may not get there tomorrow. I may not get there next week. I may not get there next year even. It may take me 5 or 6 years to get there, you know. But am I doing something now that would contribute to me getting there, you know? Um, so one of the biggest questions you ask is, if you are currently working somewhere, is the place I'm working, is it sustainable enough? Is it scalable enough to create room for me in the near future to be making the amount that I just wrote down? And if not, then you do need to be proactively looking. If you want to hit your goals, I'm not saying you need to because I said so, but if you want to hit your goals, you do need to be looking at different ways to hit it. And that could be moving to another company. That could be starting your own company. That could be partnering with somebody else who's starting a company. But you just got to, that could be investing in somebody else's company, right? So where you keep your 9 to 5, because you need the money, even though it's not the money you want, you keep your 9 to 5. And then you find other people who are starting businesses or something, and you invest in them. You save up enough to buy somebody out. You have opportunities. But what I find is that most people don't make it is because, or most people don't hit their goals because they've actually not built a framework into hitting those goals that requires them to constantly interrogate, am I still on the right path? And so I do find a lot of people in my counseling sessions who are surprised at where or where they are at where they are, and they shouldn't be. It's like, no, this is where you chose to be, you know. And it's almost like, oh dang, I never thought about it that way. It's like, no, and I I try to be careful with these conversations because these are coming from my counseling sessions, and I'm a little different in those, right? I'm a little different, but I'm still me, but I am definitely more doggish. But that's the type of person I am. I have that kind of coaching personality. So that's what we do. All right. The next one is a part of embracing financial literacy and stability is explore low cost or free resources to learn skills that can improve your job prospects or your personal growth. Because everything in life doesn't have to be about your career, which takes me back to the point I was trying that I was going to make earlier, and that is the difference between, which I may have made that point, but the difference between secular communities, and colleges and universities is that colleges and universities are primarily focused on professional development. And while yes, professional development is a part of personal growth, colleges by far and large are not equipped or concerned with people's personal growth. This is something that did make the evolving church very attractive to people, even those who are not non-believers, because the modern messages of most of the contemporary churches is personal growth, because that's what's missing. You're not getting personal growth at work. You're not getting personal growth at your schools, your universities. You're not getting personal growth, from your politics. So these people go to churches, temples, and communities, spiritual community centers for very personal reasons, right? And often those reasons are connected to personal growth, right? So invest in yourself so that you can have some of that personal growth. This is going to be a way to thrive in 2025. 2017, when I realized that I was treating the world like I thought it should be instead of paying attention to what it actually was, I started shifting a lot of things. And for the first time in my life, I started investing in myself. And it didn't cost me a dime, but that's partly because I'm good at navigating. But I was using Coursera, EDX, Khan Academy, to teach myself programming, and then looking at other certificates that they offered that I'd never seen before, you know, or other courses that they offered that might align with it, with previous experience that I had as a pastor. And that's what I found, stuff on project management, data analysis, and I took every course I could. And for me, it wasn't even about just the certificates, because some of the courses I took, I didn't get certificates for. I audited the courses just to see if I could pass the assignments, just to see if I could grasp the information. And so literally from 2017 to 2020, your boy was racking up information and certificates, which the certificates mean less to me than the information does, you know. Um, but that's an easy way to invest in yourself. And you get yourself some micro wins out of that. And micro wins are like vitamins, man. You want to take your daily dose of micro wins. You know, it's like vitamins. Seeing, acknowledging, appreciating, and celebrating those small things you get right, that is going to build your confidence like building a muscle, you know? And then also cooperative economics, which, hey, that's the conversation we're having this Sunday. I'd love to see you in our Sunday session at 12 noon Central Standard Time. We're going to be talking about the power of we in our conversation about human economics. So work with your community to pool resources, share expenses, or create mutual networks for financial support, you know. And you have no idea how important that is. Like I hear a lot of people saying stuff like, "Oh man, I don't want to, I don't want to do such and such." I don't know. It's working together is the best way to get things done. Working together is the best way to get things done. You know, financial freedom fosters independence and open doors to new opportunity. So one way to thrive is building community. Another way to thrive is embracing financial literacy and stability. And this third one, you've got to prioritize mental and physical wellness. Thriving isn't just about surviving. It's about feeling good in your body and mind. Isolation and stress can take a toll on both. There's an old saying, what is it? A healthy mind and a healthy body. I've definitely attached myself to that, Um, it's very important, you know. So some action steps you can take here are you can practice secular mindfulness, you can use apps like Timer, sorry, or Headspace for guided meditations that help reduce and improve focus. You can move your body, engage in regular exercise, whether it's walking, yoga, or joining a community sports league, which is one of the reasons why in April in Raleigh, North Carolina, we're going to be doing activities, because community is about personal growth and community development. At least that's what Bridge Cities is about. And then, of course, seek professional help. Therapy is a valuable tool. If cost is a barrier, look into sliding scale or online therapy options like BetterHelp or Open Path Collective. Please don't treat your car better than you treat your mind. Most of us, some of us would, but most of us would not take our cars to someone who's not a professional. Please do not take your mind to somebody who's not a professional. Don't do that. Don't let somebody be playing with your machinery like that, man. You're too valuable for that. And then, of course, try group practices. And this is another place that Bridge City will definitely be creating more opportunities for. So you'll be able to join group activities like secular and natural meditations, affirmations, singing sessions to experience the collective benefits. And again, if you go back to the video I think I did a video called What is Spirituality? I talk about the benefits of things that I talked about the physical benefits of things that have been deemed supernatural and show and demonstrate how there's nothing supernatural going on about those things at all. And as a matter of fact, I think I've said on this channel plenty of times, nearly, and well, not even nearly, every experience that every experience I've ever had and every experience that I've witnessed other people had or they've shared with me that was labeled as spiritual, when interrogated, could be 100% defined as natural. When you look at all of the variables such as psychology, sociology, and neurology, it's all there. It's all there. So a lot of the experiences that people have in churches or have when they're praying that they're calling these supernatural experiences are actual 100% natural experiences. And interestingly enough, when you have those experiences together, it creates a sort of collective effervescence that does play a important role in regulating endorphins and hormones that really produces some positive impact on people's lives. And so take your mental and physical wellness seriously this year and look for opportunities to do things that help you biohack yourself. And one of those things is really group activities, group occasions, it's gonna it'll help. It'll help. And some of this stuff is like the singing thing is a little easier to do when you're together, but meditations and affirmations we can do online. Like we might start a daily affirmation on this channel, like Monday through Friday. And we might do that live. But if we do, I don't want to do that by myself. So I need other people in our community. And also, I don't want to be locked into doing it every day either. I like it to be rotating. But I think that'll be a good idea to start modeling that of what secular affirmation may look like. Yeah, a type of secular devotional. Yep. I think that's what we're going to do Monday through Friday. I think we're going to do kind of like a secular devotional where we'll wake up in the mornings. I don't know when it'll start, but we'll probably like do as in the date, but we'll probably do something like 7 or 8 in the morning and go for about a good hour. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that in the comments. Also tell me what y'all think about our upcoming Raleigh trip in the comments. Also tell us what you think about us traveling this year in the comments. And also tell us where you're watching from in the comments so that we can add you to the map and maybe your city will be on the map next year. All right. But the key point here is that your well-being is a foundation for everything else. So invest in it, right? Number 4, create and commit to a personal purpose, right? Living without religious structure often means redefining purpose on your own terms. And I'm so thankful for that. Purpose provides direction and fulfillment. So here's some action steps you can take to create and commit to a personal purpose. First, define your why. Spend time reflecting on what matters to you and journaling. And you can use journaling or other tools. So there is a framework where you can ask yourself these questions: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. All right, so let's look at that again. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. I think those two are the two that most people miss, the last two. Most people do understand the what you love and what you're good at. Most people don't know a way to tie that into what does the world need, right? And so just to be clear here, when you are asking this question, don't automatically assume that what you love and what you're good at the world doesn't need, and don't automatically assume that it does need it. Big point here, make no assumptions, do the work. And in many cases you might be pleasantly surprised to find that, the thing that I love and the thing that I'm good at, there's actually people who need that. The world, that's all the people is. The world needs this. There are people who benefit from this. And I constantly use the example of gaming because 30 years ago that was not a career option. And when I say career option, I'm not talking about just designing games. No, I'm talking about playing them. Now playing games is a career option. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of the creativity of our species, that we've evolved from only having two career or professional identities, hunter/gatherer. You're gonna pick one of them two, to now we have, a smorgasbord, if you will, of options, a plethora, cornucopia, an amalgam even of options that people can, attach themselves to. So you can figure out what you love, figure out what you're good at, then try to figure out what the world needs and see if you can find a line of reconciliation. And 9 times out of 10, You're going to. Because typically the things that we love to do are also things that other people love to do. You know, that's kind of how that works. Um, but then the tricky part is, okay, can you be paid for it? You know, and the answer 9 times out of 10 is yes, but getting to that yes is very difficult. But then again, that's why community becomes very important. Um, very important. Because then community can make things happen who that individuals just can't. This is the reality, you know. And so, and of course, celebrate your progress, man. Break larger goals into small, manageable steps, and acknowledge each accomplishment. Volunteer for causes you care about, because helping others fosters a sense of meaning and community connection. And volunteering is a perfectly valid route to professional development. Um, volunteering is, if you're a volunteer, that's a professional role. If you have things that you're responsible for getting done, that's a professional role. So that's helping you there too, right? All right. And so again, the key point here is purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be meaningful to you. And that's one of the things that we definitely stress a lot of in our Sunday conversations, of reminding people that me, as the community developer of Bridge City Global, I am hyper productive. But please don't take that to mean that you must be, or that I will somehow look down on you for you not being as productive as I am. You really don't ever have to worry about anything like that with me unless you're in close proximity. Now, the closer you work with me, um, the more work I need you to do. you know, the closer you work with me, because then it's a pacing issue, right? But the further you are removed from the things that I'm responsible for, it shouldn't really matter. And I give that caveat because I see this happen a lot in corporate spaces and in church spaces, where people are held to standards that have no ground in reasoning. You know, what would be the reason of everybody in Bridge City working the way that I work? Would it be nice? Sure, man, but it would also be stressful as fuck for everybody. And so that's not necessary. And I imagine our community is going to grow by leaps and bounds. And so the more people we have, the less people who are, the less time commitment people have to give in order to keep the community sustainable, you know? So the key thing here, especially when you're asking those questions of like, when you're trying to figure out your purpose and assign yourself your purpose, um, just remember, it doesn't have to be meaningful to everybody else. It just needs to be meaningful to you, and that's really the only way to keep it authentic. And I'm a fan of authenticity. You know, I was gonna say authentism. Authentism. I'm gonna play with that a little bit. All right, and here's the last one concerning 5 ways to thrive in 2025 is embrace lifelong learning and curiosity. Growth comes from curiosity and continuous learning, which keeps you engaged with the world and adaptable to change. A few action steps you can take is learn new skills. Last year, I want to say my wife and I, we did a seminar called Upskill. And I may go back and turn that into a video for this channel because, oh my God, it was good information. It was good information. But dedicate time to learning something new each month, whether it's a language, a practical skill, or an art form. You know, read widely, um, widely. So explore books that challenge your perspectives, from philosophy to science to humanism. Um, like, please do that. Anytime somebody comes on my YouTube and say something like, "Why are you reading this book by this person?" I always want to respond, "Please don't put your ignorance on display like that. Don't do that." You know, you could have kept your mouth closed, and it could have been a question. It could have been a question of whether or not you was ignorant, but you just had to open up your mouth. And now there are no more further questions. I have no more questions for this witness, Your Honor. You know, um, ask questions, stay curious about the world. Join forums, attend lectures, or participate in community discussions to deepen your understanding. And hey, here's another shameless plug for our Sunday sessions, because that's what we do. Champion critical thinking, challenge assumptions. See, I told y'all, challenge assumptions and evaluate ideas through evidence and reason. Thriving means staying open to growth and embracing the wonder of discovery. Thriving in 2025 is about reclaiming agency and embracing community, curiosity, and self determination. Non-believers have a unique opportunity to define their lives on their own terms and build systems of support that foster resilience and joy. While challenges may arise, focusing on these 5 areas: community, financial stability, wellness, purpose, and learning creates a foundation for a life of fulfillment and possibility. In most cases, life never goes the way that we expect it. So no one can actually give us a blueprint that will make life obstacle free. But what we can do is learn a few ways that we can navigate regardless of what is thrown at us. And these 5 ways: community, financial stability, wellness, purpose, and learning. That's one hell of a safety net. Using these 5 ways to navigate this year and celebrating your micro wins and your macro wins along the way. I'm pretty sure, and I'm not saying this by some hope pie in the sky type of thing. This is what I've actually done with my life for the past few years. We pulled ourselves out of the gutter. You know, we did. And we had to do it by ourselves. But it proved to us that we could. You know, it proved to us that we could. And that's why I'm so passionate about this work. Because there's so many people out here who do not believe in themselves. Because the narrative has been so persistent that you're nothing, that you're less than, that you're incapable. You know, it's time for a new gospel. You know, it's time for a new message. It's time for a new conversation. For centuries, we've been telling ourselves how horrible we are. It's about time that we start creating space that explores how wonderful we can be. That's what I'm in it for. And so if you want to thrive in 2025, considering putting some of these principles, if you will, into work for you this year. And remember, you don't have to do it by yourself. Let's do it as a community. We'd love to have you with us as a part of Bridge City Global. We don't have any weird requirements where you have to stop being a part of any other communities. You know, we love to have you. We love to have your support. All right. So that's all I have for today. I hope this meant something to you. Just to give you that recap, what are the 5 ways to thrive in 2025? Build community, embrace financial literacy, prioritize mental and physical health, create and commit to, what's that 5th one? Create and commit to personal purpose, and then embrace lifelong learning and curiosity. And by doing these things, you're going to be empowering yourself to scale your life to things you'd likely never imagine. But we're on this journey together, and I'm excited about it. I love y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me today. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that alert notification bell. Consider joining, sharing, consider joining, connecting, or supporting this community channel or content in any way that makes sense for you. Share this video right now with somebody who you know needs this for maybe their New Year resolution. And then last but not least, check out our merch and our books. We do have new merch in support of our upcoming Bridge City Weekends Raleigh event. And so if you want to support our event in Raleigh, I don't know how to pronounce it. Raleigh. If you want to support that event, but you want to get something out of supporting it, buying merch is a great way to do that. But you can also do it by giving through one of the links below. We have Cashapp, PayPal, and we also do have a crowdfunding page on PayPal as well. All right. Have I said everything? I think I have. So until next time, y'all, keep rising, stay progressive, and if you can, stay beautiful. I'll holler at you.